stage and on the screen, but we can talk about the craft. You often hear actors say, I want to direct. From what I've read and what I've heard, maybe that doesn't apply to you.
I think that, first of all, there's an amount of patience I think you have to direct a film that I don't have. I'm pretty certain of that going in. You act in a film, and it's something you, and I'm talking about film acting now, it's something that you embrace. For me, typically, for 6 months, maybe you rehearse the material and you go and shoot the material and then you walk away from it, whereas developing a film and pre-producing and shooting and post-producing and releasing a film, it can be a year, 18 months, 2 years. And you would have to really, really love that material, I think, to do that. I don't think I have the patience for that.
And apparently you think there are fewer, for lack of a better term, character-driven films out there now, at least worthwhile character-driven films.
Well, I'll tell you, I saw a film, I see films, you know, quite frequently that are older films, and you watch them, and you see how these films linger on people's performances. And you see where the actors are very often, like in the theater, taking you where you need to go. I mean, if I sound, unfortunately, like a very actor-centric person as far as movies are concerned, well, that's, I guess, understandable, and that is that you watch something like Last Tango, where Brando has that long monologue about his boyhood in Nebraska, and you think, yeah, I mean, when I see that, I gasp, because I think, you know, good God, how many films today do they put a camera on an actor and in an unbroken take, some enormous magazine of film, they're shooting this guy for like 10, seemingly 10 solid minutes of him speaking in one take. That doesn't happen anymore today. You see directors who, they are going to be the element that makes the movie what it is. They are going to cut the film and do things to the film where it's, as opposed to films 25 years ago where it would be Bob, and me, and then Bob. Now it's Bob, me, you know, the cut, this hyper-editing kind of thing, which is very, for me, it's just very, it's exhausting to watch.
Maybe you have to be, especially now, a big star as well as an excellent actor to command that kind of attention from the director. I mean, after all, this wasn't just a good performance, this was Brando in Last Tango, a guy who filled the screen.
Someone who earned that right, yeah.
Not only had earned it, but also had a kind of presence that the first time you saw him, you knew this guy was a star.
Sure. But it's funny you say that, because, you know, that is something that it's something that I've never experienced as an actor from a performing standpoint. But as an audience member, I have experienced, I have been on the receiving end of what I would term, you know, virtuoso acting. That, to me, is something that I'm very compelled by now, and that is to find the opportunity for you to do great acting, because one of the most anxiety-producing things is you can be in a good movie and walk away, and people would say to me, what did you think of such and such a film? And I would say, yeah, it was all right. You know, and the film could make $125 million, and I'd say, yeah, my memory of the film, because I didn't get to do the kind of acting I wanted to do. And so when I see, when I say virtuoso performances, it's not necessarily in acting alone, but in music and musical performance and singing and things like that. I mean, the opportunity for an actor to do a virtuoso performance of what he does that is the equivalent of Streisand singing or Bernstein conducting or Yo-Yo Ma performing or Picasso's renderings or whatever, those are very few and far between. And I think deep down inside, all actors that I know, that is what they crave most, is to have that opportunity.
This may not be the best example, but I'm thinking through what I've seen of your work. The character in Glengarry Glen Ross, who has the one big scene, he comes in to whip these guys into shape.
But I don't equate that with that, because that's, to come in and make an impact on people in one scene is one thing. To be in a film for you know, for me, that's my whole feeling. People say to me, what do you think about your career? And I think, well, I think about all the things I want to do. I have no feeling for the things that I've done, really. You know, I really don't have much of a feeling for any of the things I've done. I mean, some of it I've enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed I did Streetcar on Broadway last year. I enjoyed doing that, and I enjoyed that opportunity as an actor. But to come out and do a film, And to hold people's attention for 10 minutes, to me, is not the same as on the waterfront, where you have everybody right here for 2 hours, you know.
All right, so you mentioned Last Tango. You mentioned On the Waterfront.
Is there a pattern here?
You mentioned Streetcar,
Is there
right?
a pattern here?
So you go to play Kowalski. You get a Tony nomination. Obviously, you perform very well. But this is Brando's bit of business, and you are a passionate student of the craft. What are you thinking the first time you walk out on the boards as Stanley Kowalski?
I'm thinking how grateful I am that I didn't see the film for many years before I did the play. And all I could think about was how I thought that if I did everything on a certain level and I was true to the play on a certain level, it would all take care of itself, because that's how great the play was.
Apparently, Mr. Kowalski was not amused. Mr. Kowalski is too busy making a pig of himself to think of anything else.
That's right, baby.
Your face and your fingers are disgustingly greasy. Go wash up and then help me clear the table.
That's how I'll clear the table. Don't you ever talk to me that way. Pig, Pollock, disgusting, vulgar, greasy. Them words have been on your tongue and your sister's too much around here. What do you two think you are? A pair of queens?
I thought that one of the things that was difficult for me was that when Brando played Kowalski, he was 26 years old. And when I did the play, I was 34 years old. And there's a tremendous difference of those 8 years for me. And I mean, I had to base this on my own assumptions. That's a tremendous difference in a young man's life, I believe, to be 26 and be 34. And I think that there's an amount of self-involvement, an amount of recklessness in dealing with this woman, his sister-in-law, that is less understandable in a 34-year-old man than a 26-year-old man. And I think, therefore, I had to try to make it, I mean, Brando was pretty hard on Vivian Leigh. And so when I did it, I thought if I was to be that callous toward her as a 34-year-old guy, there's a whole lot of other pathology there. So it was very, very tricky. But that brings me to this interesting thing, and that is the only thing I can hope for as an actor, and this sounds corny, is to get better, because the great ones, to me, are the ones who had this tremendous sense of self-awareness and had this tremendous innate ability and had this presence as young men. Brando knocked people on their ass, and he was 26 years old. And you will see some actors in their filmography, so to speak, where here they are day one, and here they are 10 years later in all these films in between. And there's not a lot of difference in what they're doing. And, I mean, that is what it is. But I think the people who have impressed me the most are the ones who, I mean, they just killed you from day one when they were young. Brando being the best example. Pacino doing, I mean, I know Pacino just vaguely from having worked with him and communicating with him, because I'm a big fan of his. And you look at Pacino, his first film was Darling. Darling Lily? No, I can't remember now. But his second film was Panic in Needle Park. Second film. And his third film was The Godfather. You know, and
you could call it a day right there.
Right, but I mean, to be injected into the process and to make good. I mean, the first 5 films I did, I would show up and I had kind of this, you know, golly, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me here kind of attitude, rather than paying attention to getting out of this, getting all the juice out of the rind that I can. You know, and that's how I've changed, you know. That's how I think a lot of people change, is now it's all about, this is an opportunity that I have to, you know, my job is to focus on this and make the most out of it. And sometimes you get pathologically locked into that. You can become kind of a pain in the ass in your quest for perfection. But
that's not all bad. It's going to get you labeled difficult, especially by people who aren't on the same wavelength.
Well, I think that yes, you can be difficult, and in the end, what it's all about is you want to. It's one thing if I want things to go my way because I want to go to the racetrack. I want time off. Well, I think a lot of my problems in this business that I've had have not been because I wanted time off to go to the racetrack. You know, I wanted them to do the movie the best possible way I thought it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the more you're involved in the business, the more you stop having this kind of golly gee, you know, thanks for having me kind of attitude, and you realize, this is interesting. I saw an interview once on a television show with an actor who I'll never forget this, because it was, I turned on the television, it was Gregory Harrison, when he was doing a lot of, you know, very successful television shows. And he said the most interesting thing. He said, everything for me in the business changed when I realized that I had something to offer, that nobody was doing me a favor. They weren't giving me this money out of sympathy or generosity. I had something to offer, I had something to say, blah, blah, blah. And you come in and, you know, you want things to be good. I still haven't lost that feeling of wanting to get everything out of it that we can, you know.
It's the one Christmas sale you won't want to miss. Now at Sears Brand Central for 2 days only, this Friday and Saturday, it's all on sale. All TVs, all camcorders, all 4-head VCRs, all of America's favorite brands, all refrigerators, all washers and dryers, all vacuums and floor cleaners, all with Sears service and satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. It's the one sale you won't want to miss for 2 days only, Friday and Saturday. It's all on sale at Sears Brand Central, your home for the holidays.
Before, after, before, after, before, after. How do you get from before to after? Simple. Apple Desktop Publishing. It makes everything you do look better than before.
Do you have a problem with cat box odor?
No, I don't.
Huh? Well, evidently you need Scoop Fresh Scoopable Litter from Fresh Step. It freshens even when you're not scooping. Yeah, why just scoop when you can scoop fresh?
This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping $5 million in the Discover Card Big Payback. Now, every time you use your card, you're automatically entered in our $5 million sweepstakes. It pays to Discover, the card with the big payback.
First cousin, but I can't. He plays lots of sports. I love sports. He plays t-ball. Because he's funny. He writes books. Because I love him. No, I just like him.
So, do you like your mom's Grand Cherokee, or do you love it? Now you can love it and lease it. And that's life, brought to you by your California Jeep and Eagle dealer. Who else?
And we're back with Alec Baldwin. Given your attitude about the craft, how much is it a blessing and how much a drawback to be a movie star? Because you are, in fact, a glamorous movie star. Whether you want to say it or not, it's pretty obvious from the way people respond to you.
I'm a barnacle
and you're
on the
married,
side of one.
And you're married to...
I feed off parasitically one.
That's such a pleasant image, too.
I am what I am, I'm sorry.
Obviously, it can help. It can help in wielding power. It can help in, I don't mean that in the crassest way, but it can help to get you the sort of roles or circumstances that let you do your best work.
Well, I mean, I have, you know, you think about that and your opinion about those things evolves, and I think right now, at this point in my life, what I think about it is that if Mr. X does a film, who is a film actor, and that film is not successful, it's like when I was less known than I am now, for whatever reason. 5 years ago when I did this movie, Miami Blues, and the movie was not a success, then it was a disappointment. If I did that movie today and it was as unsuccessful, it would be an enormous bomb. It would be a stinking bomb in the movie business. When you are less famous, your failures are disappointments. And when you're more famous, your failures are, you know, these huge bombs. And, you know, Miami Blues was a disappointment. Prelude to a Kiss was a bomb. You know what I mean? If it doesn't make 50 million or, you know, the first weekend. And that's the only thing about it that I think is a shame, is that movies now are this star-driven opening weekend kind of thing. I remember reading a very interesting thing in a magazine about, they charted the grosses of a film back in the 70s, and I can't remember the period, the specifics escape me right now, but they charted the path of a film in the early 70s, and they showed how the film grew each weekend. It was the opposite of what occurs now. You know, it had an opening weekend that was such and such, and the word of mouth built, and the critical praise built, and the exposure built, and then they opened it wider into more theaters, and it grew. As opposed to now, when you drop every bomb you have on the American public to come see a film, and you try to fool them, and then the whole thing just goes down incrementally afterward. And I thought that was bizarre to me, how it used to be. I wish it were that way again.
What doesn't the press, in general, understand about movie making that they should?
The entertainment press is different. If you come to me and you say to do this program, for example, I mean, I'm not saying this for your benefit, but, you know, people respect you and they like you and they feel safe with you, and this is a legitimate venue, and, you know, this is a great program, and it's a good experience, and you're not out to bludgeon people, or, you know, this is not Joe Pine, you know what I mean? And but on the other hand, the entertainment press is a different story. You know, it's like if you come to me and say, well, why don't we do an entertainment story for you in the New York Times? My opinion, my method tends to be, well, entertainment in the New York Times is a component of an overall thing. There's world affairs and political affairs and economic affairs and the arts are in their perspective in a newspaper. Whereas when you have things that are entertainment press that don't focus themselves solely on entertainment, those are the things that I'm very wary of, because they seem to be this kind of, you know, malicious, tabloid-esque, because they have to deal with two things, in my opinion. What is special, and I don't think that there's enough in the arts that's special to fill all these magazines and television shows. There just isn't. So they have to manufacture what's special. You have to say, Joey Knucklehead, who just did a sitcom, who was this hot young guy on a sitcom, is now going to do a movie, and Joey Knucklehead is a genius, and he's the hottest thing in the world. Well, if Joey Knucklehead is a genius and the greatest thing in the world, what is Ian McKellen? What room do we leave ourselves for gradation here? There is none. And so that is my biggest problem with the entertainment press, and also that they're very blame-centered. They tend to want to say, this situation is not good, this was a bomb, like in a movie, and you're to blame. And I think that that's cruel and unnecessary. And I don't like that. I don't like to see people, I'll be honest with you, the result of some of the things I've seen since I coupled with my wife and got more and more in like tabloid press and things is, now I don't believe anything I read in a newspaper or a magazine. Nothing. You could show me photographs and I'd say, I don't believe it.
Anything? I mean, even in a respectable
I believe everything I hear
newspaper?
about you, Bob.
Well, and that's your first mistake.
I have the court transcripts we were talking about earlier.
But are we talking about just celebrity coverage, or are you suspicious of almost anything you read?
Celebrity coverage. I mean, I'm suspicious of entertainment press, which to me is like this big, if you have a half-hour show called Entertainment This Evening, we don't want to, you know, Entertainment This Evening.
Yeah.
And this program is supposed to be a half-hour.
Probably need a man and a woman to kind of co-host.
A guy, you know, a woman who had kind of like a Dallas cowgirl kind of look to her.
Right.
And, you know, Dallas cheerleader thing, and a guy, maybe he makes music on the side. You have them up there, and you have them discuss what is special and unique and entertaining in the world today for half an hour every day. There's not enough that's special and unique and entertaining in the world every day to talk about for half an hour. That's my opinion. So what are they going to do? Come on and go, hi, everybody. Today, hey, off day. Not enough that's unique and special and entertaining in the world of entertainment today. So we're going to show you a rerun of one of our old shows. Roll that tape, Joe. And they don't do that.
Right.
They're going to manufacture what is, and that's when everything to me gets distorted or what is newsworthy. Suddenly, this story about you, I mean, forget about some kind of qualification of who's talented, because that's an ugly thing. They're going to take a story about you and say, well, we got to have a news story on. And then they put a story on and elevate its importance before it's even proven, you know.
Hit it.
If you want to feel the music, you've got to have great speakers. Radio Shack's Optimus speakers can surround you with theater sound or put a command performance on your bookshelf, in your living room, or on the road. Come audition over 80 speakers that deliver great sound, no matter what kind of music you listen to. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Craftsman tools, one of the best gifts ever. Like this Craftsman 53-piece mechanics tool set, or this 3-drawer tool chest. Your choice, just $39.99. Craftsman, only at Sears, your home for the holidays.
The client everybody's after wants to meet us for dinner. Can you be ready in 10 minutes?
Norelco introduces the compact Speed Razor. Why show up at a 7 p.m. meeting with a 7 a.m. shave? The new Norelco Speed Razor, close and comfortable to go.
See all that's new for '94 in one of the nation's largest exhibits ever. The 9th Annual Long Beach International Auto Show, November 24th through 28th. Come park at the show, just off the 710 freeway. Enter the Trip-A-Day giveaway, and a paradise vacation in Hawaii could be yours free. The Long Beach International Auto Show this Thanksgiving weekend at the Long Beach Convention Center.
And now, the Thanksgiving thoughts of a turkey.
Okay, if I can just sneak by Thanksgiving, I can get over to Sport Mart Friday morning for their early bird clearance.
It's Sport Mart's early bird clearance Friday for 6 hours only.
And it's buy one, get one free.
Just look for the green stripe tags on selected apparel and athletic shoes. Buy one pair of shoes, get another pair free. Buy one item of apparel, get another apparel item free.
Buy one, get one free.
6 hours only, Friday morning, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. during Sport Mart's early bird clearance. Don't let it sneak by.
People know that occasionally you speak out about causes beyond acting. You're very interested
in... I don't do that anymore. I gave that up, Bob.
No, you didn't.
I gave it up. I don't do that.
But we won't ask you to express any of those.
I used to.
We won't express any of those viewpoints, but it's interesting that this goes way back. I read that you were so interested in politics as a kid that Bobby Kennedy was one of your heroes, and as a 9 or 10-year-old kid, you attend his funeral mass at St. Patrick's in New York in 1968.
Yeah, that's true. I grew up in that kind of a household, a real Kennedy, Democrat, liberal. My father was a school teacher in New York and on Long Island who grew up in Brooklyn, who was part of a post-war flight to Long Island. And yet he was genuinely a very liberal, civil rights conscious guy, you know. We grew up in a community where everybody was basically, you know, the unspoken communion they had was like, don't sell your house to a black person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Massapequa, Long Island was like that kind of a, you know, Amityville, the next town over, was integrated, and Farmingdale was, Massapequa, nobody. And I think that annoyed my father, and he always used to say strange things to me. He would say to me, if you were black and you were young, would you be Martin Luther King or would you be Eldridge Cleaver? Would you have the patience and the strength and the personal fortitude to go on, or would your anger and your passion overcome you and you'd be out there making things happen? And I knew the answer. He said to me, knowing you, I know you'd be like, you know, bombing everything. You know, and he was right. And,
so he's putting these questions to a 10-year-old kid.
He's putting these questions to a 10-year-old kid. Oh yeah, my father was a political science teacher, and he taught economics and government, and we talked about this a lot when I was, I mean, maybe when I was 12, 13, we talked a lot about, because for me it was a game I played to get my father's attention. My father was always buried in a book or the New York Times, so in order to speak with my father, I had to become conversant in what interested him. You know, my mother or other people, you know, let's say they read Harold Robbins, that wasn't the way to my father's heart. Harold Robbins was not the way to my father's heart, so I learned to speak his language early on.
New Clorox Automatic. It's like cleaning your toilet with Clorox bleach every time you flush.
Announcing Sears' biggest tire sale of the year. This weekend, all tires are on sale at Sears Tire and Auto Center. All of the brands America trusts, like all Goodyear, all Michelin, all Bridgestone, all VF Goodrich, and of course, all Guardsman Response radials. Now as low as $17.99, our lowest price of the year. So get to Sears Tire and Auto Center now for the brands you want. All tires on sale, Friday through Sunday at Sears, your home for the holidays.
Who makes the only TV with a smart sound feature, which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels, even when something like this comes on?
Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
Yes! No use shouting, old man.
This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping $5 million in the Discover Card Big Payback. Now, every time you use your card, you're automatically entered in our $5 million sweepstakes. It pays to Discover, the card with the big payback.
Zero down, $199 a month for America's best-selling vehicle. It's Don Cott's best ever truck sale. Hundreds to choose from, with Ford F-Series pickups starting at zero down and $199 a month. Just $199 a month for a short 24-month lease with no money down for a new 94 F-Series with air, power steering, stereo, and more. Just $199 a month for 24 months and no money down. Don't miss Southern California's biggest truck sale ever. This weekend at the Don Cott Auto Center, San Diego Freeway at Avalon Boulevard in Karsten.
Alec Baldwin, of course, can be seen in Malice at a theater near you. We really enjoyed this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. We're out of here. See you later.
Another illusion I chose to create. You don't know what you got until